Hello world. This video has been a long time coming. About 4 years ago, I thought of this video idea. Back when I was still in high school, I had thought about how ridiculous and absurd some of the CoD zombies Pack-a-Punch names were and wanted to find a video covering them on YouTube. Nothing. No videos like this. I then thought, man, that would be a great video to make. And I want to start off by doing a huge shout out to the YouTuber Tim Hansen for a few YouTube videos of his that helped me find out the names of some of the weapons, especially for the ones in the games that I don't currently own. This helped for the majority of the names, but he didn't cover all of the weapons and their names or what they mean. So that's what I'm here to do. The entire series will cover from World at War all the way up to Black Ops 7. Now, Black Ops 7 hasn't fully released yet. I'm currently recording November 3rd of 2025, so just a couple weeks before. And I plan on adding all the weapons from the Black Ops 7 cycle, which means I have to wait until the end of all the DLC weapons to actually start talking about those. So, starting off, we've got World at War. Made in 2008, there are 26 weapons to cover here. 2 from the handgun category, 2 from the bolt-action rifles category, 4 from the rifles category, 4 from the submachine guns category, 4 from the machine guns category, 2 from the shotguns category, 2 from the flamethrowers and rocket launchers category, 2 from the wonder weapons category, and I've got 4 extra honorable mentions for guns that you can't currently go into the game in Pack-a-Punch, but you can find in the code that has Pack-a-Punch names attached to them. So starting off with the handgun categories, we've got the classic Colt M1911. And when you Pack-a-Punch the Colt M1911, it turns into the Mustang, and just kidding, it turns into the C3000 Biatches from Leetspeak, which, if you didn't know, is using numbers and other characters to work as letters. So the 1, the 3, and the 5 in this name being turned into I, E, and an S, respectively. Besides the absurd quantity of biatches we've got going on here, I'm not exactly sure why this gun is named this way, but I am all for it. The second handgun is the .357 Magnum, which when Pack-a-Punch turns into the .357 plus 1 K1L-U, which translates from Leetspeak, as we talked about previously, into the plus 1 Kill You. Besides the name being very threatening, another fun fact about the gun is that it is one-shot until round 15. The next category is the bolt-action rifles. Starting off, we've got the Kar98K, which when Pack-a-Punch turns into the Armageddon. This name is interesting. Besides being a sci-fi action movie from 1998 with Bruce Willis and Owen Wilson, Armageddon is also referred to in Christianity as the end times of the prophesied last battle between good and evil. Next, we have the PTRS-41. And yes, for some reason this rifle is classified as a bolt action, despite it being semi-automatic. But I digress. On a side note, yes, I literally did get down on round 3. This was the first time I played Black Ops 3 in a long time, so ignore that. Anyways, the PTRS-41 Pack-a-Punches into the Penetrator, which is referring to the fact that it can now penetrate and kill up to 5 zombies in one shot, as opposed to the usual 3 zombies. A fun fact about this rifle, too, is that on the iOS version of zombies, the PTRS-41 does not have a scope, even when Pack-a-Punched. It also has no recoil when firing while ADS, but has recoil when hip-fired. Now we move on to the rifles category, starting with the Gewehr 43, at least I hope that's how it's pronounced, which turns into the G115 compressor. This is a direct reference to element 115, which, if you didn't know, is the element to cause the creation of zombies, perks, and wonder weapons. Also, a compressor, typically used on air rifles, air pistols, and paintball guns, is an attachment to pressurize air and propel projectiles with increased accuracy and velocity. The second rifle is the M1A1 carbine, which, when Pack-a-Punch, turns into the Wittershins RC1. The word Widdershins is a German word which means in a direction opposite to the usual, or left hand wise or counterclockwise. A couple odd things with this gun is that in Der Ries, the Wallbei's text only refers to it as the M1 carbine. I have no idea what the RC1 means. The next rifle is the M1 Grand M7 grenade launcher version. This rifle pack-a-punches into the imploder. The exploding grenade rounds in the imploder jump from 1 to 3 capacity. The next and final rifle is the STG-44. This one turns into the Spatz 447 Plus. Spatz is German for sparrow. What I actually think Spatz means, not really of course, is that the fire rate increases and makes the gun feel like it is spitting bullets. I don't know why there's a 7 at the end or why there's a plus sign, but hey, there it is. Moving on to the next category, we've got the submachine guns. Starting off with the MP40. This classic turns into the afterburner. An afterburner is an additional combustion component used on some jet engines to increase thrust. This SMG is called this due to its slight increase in fire rate, similarly to the STG-44. Holy cow shit, this is a much better round 3. Ray gun, and I have 420 points? I can't believe I got these games back to back. Also, in Call of Duty Advanced Warfare, there is a legendary variant called Afterburn, which may be referencing this. Next up, we have the PPSH-41, which pack-a-punches into the Reaper. This name is likely just referring to the ability to reap zombie souls, just like the Grim Reaper. Additionally, the ammo count of 115 per mag is a reference to Element 115. The next great weapon is the Thompson, which turns into the Gibzomatic. A gib, short for giblets, is a piece of a character, usually after being blown off with an explosive or a powerful weapon. So gib in this case would be any arm, head, or leg from a zombie. When I played Black Ops 1 and World at War, I remember fairly vividly that this specific gun felt like it shot off limbs very easily. Last, but definitely not least, is the Type 100. This turns into the 1001 Samurais. The Type 100 was mass-produced in Japan during World War II, hence the Japanese samurai reference. 1001 Samurais may also be a nod to the popular film 101 Dalmatians. On to the next category of machine guns, we've got, starting off, the Bar, which turns into the Widowmaker. Besides being a type of heart attack and the hottest Overwatch character, Widowmaker is a phrase that refers to someone or something that kills multiple men, leaving their wives widowed. The next machine gun we're talking about is the FG-42, which pack-a-punches into the 420 Impeller. The 42 is turned into 420, which is referencing marijuana or weed. An impeller is also the rotating part of a centrifugal pump or mixer, compressor, or other machine designed to move a fluid by rotation. I definitely had to look that one up. Next, we've got the Browning M1919, which pack-a-punches into the B115 Accelerator. Very, very simple. This is a reference to Element 115, and Accelerator is likely referring to its fire rate increase. The last machine gun we're talking about is the MG42. This one turns into the Barracuda FU-A11. A barracuda is a saltwater predatory fish known for its ferocious behavior and teeth, comparable to a piranha. FU-A11 is leet speak for fuck you all. Vulgar, vile, and vicious. Perfect for an LMG like this. Now we're on to the shotguns category. And the first of the two is the double barrel shotgun, which pack-a-punches into the 24-bore long range. A shotgun's bore is the internal diameter of the shotgun's barrel. The gauge number 24 refers to the volume. 24 gauge means 24 lead balls of the same diameter of the bore weigh 1 pound, or One lead ball, the same size of the shotgun's bore diameter, weighs 1/24th of a pound. The smaller the gauge number, the larger the bore. At least I think that's what it is. Ironically, the double barrel is a 12 bore. So 24 probably just comes from double. It's also nicknamed the sniper shotgun due to its increased range. The second shotgun is the M1897 trench gun, which turns into the gut shot. Getting shot in the gut with this gut shot, you're likely gonna die. In all seriousness, this name just means being shot in the gut or the stomach. An odd thing with this gun, though, is that the ammo is doubled when you have the doubled barrel shotgun too, for some reason. Now we are moving into the longest category name ever, the Flamethrowers and Rocket Launchers, which consists of one flamethrower and one rocket launcher. The M2 Flamethrower turns into the FIW nitrogen cooled. It's so cold, it's hot. Now, jokes aside, the nitrogen cooled part of this name is likely referring to the fact that when pack-a-punched, its cooldown time is decreased and doesn't overheat as fast. As for the FIW, I'm not sure. Now moving on to the launcher, the Panzerschreck, it turns into Longinus, or Longinus, which is some Roman soldier who pierced the side of Jesus with a lance. Moving on to the two wonder weapons, we have the ray gun, which, when pack-a-punched, turns into the Porter's x2 ray gun. This icon was named Porter's x2 ray gun because of H. Porter, who is a scientist from Group 935, which made this ray gun and some other weapons that I'll cover later in the video. The real-life story behind the naming of the Porter's x2 ray gun is that Treyarch had a weapon artist named Max Porter who came up with this weapon as a side project. Then we have one of my favorite wonder weapons ever, the Wunderwaffe DG2, which turns into the Wunderwaffe DG3 JZ. Wunderwaffe means miracle weapon in German. Funnily enough, Tank Dempsey has a voice line dubbing the gun as Wunderwaffle. DG supposedly stands for Die Glock, which is a very, very specific old World at War conspiracy and a whole rabbit hole that you can learn the basics of by watching the Genius Choppers video about the flytrap, Die Glock. The current DG lineup is Die Glock, which is the teleporters, Wunderwaffe's DG2 and 3, and the Ragnarok's DG4 and 5 from BO3 and on. Jay-Z is not talking about the rapper Jay-Z. It is actually referencing Jimmy Zielinski, who was a lead animator at the time. The last and final category is the honorable mentions. We've got 3 rifles and 1 shotgun. Starting with the Arasaka, this would have turned into the Eviscerator. This seems like it was going to be in Derice at one point, but was subsequently removed due to the Kar 98K's appearance and similar function. The name means something that can disembowel or remove the innards from something, typically referring to like a person or an animal. Next, we've got the Springfield, which I assume is similar to the Arasaka and just didn't show up because of the Kar 98. This weapon's pack-a-punch name in the files is literally just PaP Springfield. I'm assuming that they just had this name as a placeholder and forgot to edit it out of the files. The last rifle is the M1 Garand. Now you may be wondering, hey, didn't we already do the M1 Garand with the M7 grenade launcher? Yes, we did. However, this refers to the variant without the grenade launcher that doesn't appear in Derice's weapon loot table. This one pack-a-punches into the M1000. It seems they had this pack-a-punch name made before they decided to cut the base variant out. M1000 refers to the fact that 1000 is commonly called 1 grand. This might be just mockery of how players often mispronounce M1 Garand as M1 Grand. This leads us to the last and final weapon I'm going to be covering for World at War, which is the sawed-off double-barreled shotgun with grip, which has the pack-a-punch name the Snuff Box attached to it. Basically, the exact same stats and performance as the regular double-barreled shotgun. This cut pack-a-punch name means a few things. A snuff box is a small decorative box used to hold snuff, which is a powdered or shredded tobacco that is inhaled or sniffed. A snuff box is also slang for a coffin, which is quite fitting for a gun, and it is slang for a short person, which is relating to the short barrel. Now, this concludes the World at War Call of Duty Zombies Pack-a-Punch weapon names explained. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like, subscribe, do whatever. If you subscribe, I will be doing the other games from Black Ops 1 all the way up to Black Ops 7. Subscribe if you want to see those videos, and I will see you all when I see you.